Wow. What can I say about this film? This film is fantastic. This film has caused me to create this channel and my first ever movie review. That's got to show you how much I appreciated this film. It was a shock to me, a surprise, a welcome surprise. This film is one of the best films of 2024 and is in my top 20 films of all time. The film is The Substance. It's directed and written by Coralie Fargeat, her second feature film. The first feature film being The Revenge, 2017, which I haven't watched myself, but I will after watching this. The writer-director has done shorts before, but it seems like she is an accomplished writer and director to me, just from this project alone. So that shows you how much ability she has as a filmmaker. The film releases on September the 20th. However, my cinema offers mystery events where a film is shown early. They are not forthright with what the film is going to be, but by the age rating of an 18 and a long run time, I was able to essentially realized that it was going to be The Substance. And when that was confirmed in the theatre, a couple of people in front of me were cheering, so obviously they had deduced the same thing. And I didn't really know much about this film before going into it, other than people had said, there were loose ties to Cronenberg and Kubrick with The Shining. This film was amazing. And the premise, no spoilers, the protagonist has built a career around her physical appearance, attractiveness, and the ascent at which she's gone through this Hollywood-esque system, this entertainment industry, is very fast, and she's loved by everybody. But the film takes place on a birthday. It's never specified which birthday, but she's aged and she's almost becoming invisible. Now, this is something I hear from women myself, that when you get to your mid-30s, going on to 50, you may experience this where people might not hold the doors open for you as much. You're just not treated the same. So in essence, there's this damning indictment of society where the entertainment industry mistreats women. And obviously this has always been the case all the way through history, especially in terms of Hollywood. But the premise is this, that the protagonist is starting to feel like her age is having an impact. She doesn't feel as attractive. People aren't treating her as well. And she's wanting to find, because she's struggling with this, she's wanting to find a way to deal with it, to feel maybe bring some confidence back. So in essence, The Substance, it's a product supplied by a secret organization whose intentions we don't fully know. But their promise is that you can create a younger, more beautiful version of yourself. So I won't do any spoilers because the film isn't even out yet officially. But the concept is very good. And I think it's hard these days, especially with the horror sci-fi genre, to come up with a unique concept and a good concept in particular. And the concept here gripped me from the beginning. I think it's a great concept. It's something that gripped me from the first 10 minutes. The casting, perfect. Demi Moore is playing the protagonist, and Demi Moore was a beauty icon. I say was, which she was, but because she is now aged, she she essentially is playing herself in this film. I think the casting was great. She has moments in this film where the sadness is palpable. She obviously recognizes herself in the mirror, and maybe, the body dysmorphia is coming in so much that you can see the depression mounting. That's all conveyed in her character, but you can also tell she's a very nice woman who is basically, she's starting to decline mentally. Margaret Qualley, on the other side, she plays the exact opposite of this. So a young, attractive woman, and her ascent is on the up in this entertainment industry. We obviously know that as fast as your ascent can be, the descent can be just as fast, which is what Demi Moore's character is going by. But Margaret Qualley has to do something very complex here. She has to play a very happy, outgoing, confident woman, but she also has to allow the insecurities inside to be shown on screen. So there are subtle elements where, whether it be her eyes opening wider or a little shake maybe, but she is having to do a lot of stuff here, and her character arc, she changes a lot during this film. So Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley both have to change a lot during this role, from the beginning to the end, and they do it very, very well. Dennis Quaid plays a character that I never imagined seeing. A very over-the-top, eccentric character for Dennis Quaid to play. And there is a scene very early on in a restaurant. This is not a spoiler, but the video camera is getting as close to Dennis Quaid's character as possible. So the camera is right there, getting close-up shots of him, and he has this manic, psychotic smile on his face. And he plays his character so well. Very much an unlikable TV producer, executive, only cares about ratings, viewers, and he plays that very well. But this scene in the restaurant, the zoom-ins, the camera angles are fantastic at giving you that sense of unease. But the thing I want to draw your attention to here is the audio design, the sound effects. Amazing all the way through the film, but this is our first indication of the sort of grotesque stuff we will see on screen. The squelches of him as Dennis Quaid, as he's chomping this food, he's talking, spraying saliva out across the table. It really is disgusting, and during this moment I knew it was foreshadowing probably the grotesque stuff that we're going to see down the line in the third act, the final act. We know that this film is tagged with the body horror tag, and I think that was your first indication that things are going to be horrible, squelchy, disturbing later down the line. I had seen people drawing comparisons to The Shining, Kubrick-esque elements, and I must say, personally, I didn't really notice that so much. Very early in the film, there's a very on-the-nose, not so subtle reference to The Shining in terms of the set design and also some of the background music that's playing, that eerie music. And outside of that, I would say you could possibly draw comparisons with mental health issues and a crescendo of maybe a mental breakdown. What I will say was accurate is the comparison to Cronenberg projects, because this is very much a body horror film, particularly in that third act. I actually thought it was quite like Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool in terms of look and feel. I say that because of the vibrancy, the colours, oversaturation and the over-the-top characters. But all of Cronenberg's films, both Cronenberg's, their films, they share elements with this film, but it is very much its own thing, and she has done this so well, Fargeat. This film was a complete surprise to me, and the third act was completely out there, absurd, balls to the walls, crazy, and the people around me in the screening, they were audibly affected by some of the scenes. Lots of or ooh when certain things were on screen. There are many grotesque scenes in this film. In terms of blood and things, I'd say it's very campy, very cheesy, 80s style. So, visceral though some of the visuals are, I didn't find the blood in this too realistic, too disturbing. But the visual, the practical effects in this film were outstanding. And some of the makeup, some of the wardrobe design, the sets, fantastic. This film was great all round. And I think as horror fans, we are at a point now, obviously we have a new genre, we call it elevated horror. We are at a point now where we've gone from every horror film being B-movie style to a steady release of horror films with cool concepts, with unique concepts. And this is on that same trajectory. It's riding that wave of decent horror films with unique elements and just more thought process involved in the creation, rather than just let's have a killer, let's have some easy victims. The final act of this film is indescribable, literally indescribable. There are absurdities in this final act which left me speechless after leaving the film, and that have had a profound effect on me. Let's just say that the people who watched this film, the couples that were there on the night I watched it, I don't think anybody is going to have anything on their mind romantically when they leave this cinema, because there is so much going on and so many grotesque, disturbing visuals that I feel like you may need 24, 48 hours to recuperate. But this film was fantastic, and I recommend it to everyone. It was a great surprise. The acting was phenomenal. The writing, directing, phenomenal. I can't wait to see more of her stuff. I want to go back and watch previous stuff. You have to watch this film. And the fact that I've made this video and made this channel is testament to the quality of this production. I hope you enjoyed my short analysis, but I think it was the least I could do for a project that I was floored by. It was fantastic. Go and see it.